If everybody say it can't get done, I'm like, yes it can, why not? I said, if these kids can't read, then I'm not gonna call them. All this, mom, dad, I'm gonna look you in your face and say this kid can't read. We let them down. School, parents, we let them down, but I'm not gonna take them to the next grade knowing that they're not at grade level. It's funny because I'm always like, okay, how are schools successful? Well, schools are successful when they demand greatness. Greatness doesn't come. We're about to make history. We're about to learn. We're about to grow. We're about to make history. And then, mark my words, it's going to be other school districts, other places around it that's going to be doing this thing. We're going to be the first model. And I'm speaking that into existence, okay? If you can really take the map and drive the instructor inside the classroom and link it to the M step, then everything will move. You see it?
Ladies, third grade teachers, could you tell me, how do you think this professional development was for you today?
Easy. It was productive. It was exciting.
We will never leave Mr. Hurt advising.
Because the schools that I've worked with, the teachers I've worked with, their scores is go through the roof because what I do is I talk about practical stuff that's practical. Because I'm a former teacher and also I'm a principal, so I'm gonna be telling you guys things that I know will work in your classroom.
For booking, please visit shurtschoolturnaroundspecialist.com.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Sean Hurt, the school turnaround specialist, with my Saturday morning podcast. Come on in, and hit that share button and let me know where you're coming from. I'm pumped up. I'm excited. We got part two. Of your relationship with your spouse will affect your leadership. Part two. Last week we were on fire. So we're doing part two. I couldn't get through it all because it was so much information, so many people asking questions. So we're doing part two. So come on in and hit that share button. I need all of my Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube educators. Come on in and let's take a part of that. I'm only 30 minutes. And then we have Creative Educate at 10:30. And we have Principal Fede at 11. And on tomorrow, we have Brother Josh Tarver and Dean Packer. We call ourselves the Fantastic Four. We're talking about free professional development. So come on in and hit that share button. I need to know where you're coming from. So give me a few seconds as I get all of my people in. I want to make sure I got all my LinkedIn folks in and everybody. And you promised last week, you said, Mr. Hurt, I'm bringing a friend. So you promised me, you said, Hurt, I'm bringing a friend. So you still got a few minutes to go ahead. I need everybody that's on here to hit that share button. Go to the people who you know. If you are an educator, this is a non-negotiable. If you are a teacher, a principal, superintendent, we're talking about your relationship with your spouse. Your significant other will affect your leadership. If you are a parapro, principal, everything. If you are in education, and it's not even education, just in any field, I'm just an educator, but in any field. So I want everybody to go ahead and get a part of that. Last week we were on fire, and we're going to be on fire again. So go ahead and give me a few seconds, so I can a few minutes, so I get everybody in. And if I'm looking at other screens, I got all these other screens coming in. I want to make sure I get everybody in. All of my people in, so come on in, and we're gonna get started in a little bit. So just bear with me. Don't leave me. And I need to know where you're coming from. Go ahead and say, "Hey, Hurt, I'm coming from Georgia. I'm coming from such and such." Represent your place. Represent who you are. Go ahead and represent. So I got Miss Davis in the house. Good morning, Miss Davis from Vegas. I got Candace Smith in the house from Virginia. I got Dr. Houston in the house. My good friend Dr. Houston in the house. She's doing some good work. And I have Miss Jennifer in the house. Jennifer said, "Well, you know what? I'm gonna talk about you, Jennifer. I'm gonna brag about you. I'm bragging about you today. So I can't wait to brag about you. I can't wait to brag about you. So come on in and let me know where you're coming. Let me know where you're coming from. Let me know where you're coming from. We're going to get started in a few more seconds. All right. I want to get all my LinkedIn and my Facebook folks. I got Miss Sherry Center in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Tammy Teller, my good friend Tammy Teller from South Carolina. Principal Kafele, my mentor, much love to you. Always give respect. I believe in giving respect. That's my man, my mentor. I would not be doing this work without Principal Kafele spending 30 minutes with me. 30 minutes with me. When was that? About 8 or 9 years ago when I was a principal at Muskegon Heights. He sat in my office and he spent 30 minutes. Just think, you can spend 30 minutes with a person and it could change a person's life. It could take a person to a whole nother level with just spending 30 minutes with an individual. So Principal Kafele, you know how much I love you, man. You know, words can't describe the blessing that you've been part of my life for many, many years, man. Blessing me, my wife, my kids, just those words and just taking me to a whole nother level. So, man, I love you. I love you. I love you. If no one knows, man, I love you. Thank you. I thank God for your wife. I thank God for your wife allowing you to do the work. So, man, I thank God for the queen. So I know she's probably at the house. Give her a big hug and kiss for me. Tell her to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, Mrs. September. Good morning, Miss Jones. Good morning, Miss Melissa. Miss Melissa. So let's go ahead and hit that share button. Let's go ahead and get started. I don't want to belabor the time. So once again, my name is Sean Hurt, and I'm doing my morning podcast, and I am hyped up. I'm geeked up. I got so much information to share. And then we're going to talk about this spouse thing. And I know we're going into Fantastic Four. We're going to do a big thing probably in a couple more months. We're going to sit down, myself, Tammy Teller, Dr. Houston, Dr. Teller, Principal Kafele, and and Josh Tarver. We're going to go in and sit down, and we're just going to bring it all together. But this has been on my mind for so many years. So how I like to do it, I want to go over my housekeeping notes. So I got a couple of announcements to tell you about. A couple of announcements. I am so happy. I got to say it. I have Miss Jennifer Sale on here. She inboxed me yesterday, and she's a teacher in North Carolina, one of the schools that I work with. She inboxed me her end of the year NWA scores. I am so excited. She had 81% of her class. Listen to this. 81% of her class met or exceeded their end of the year scores for NWEA. Usually a good score for a teacher or for somebody is 60 to 65%. So she had 81% of her kids to meet or exceed their end of the year targets. And in addition to that, oh man, I gotta say it, she made 1.8 years, 1 year and 8 months worth of growth for her end of the year targets. And I believe that was in reading, if I'm not mistaken. She made 1 year and 8 months worth of growth for her end of the year targets. Now you say, how is that important? Usually a teacher will grow a kid 1 year. Usually if you're in a classroom, you will grow 1 year. She not only did 1 year, but she did an additional 8 months. So consequently, she is closing that gap. Whatever gaps that they have, she's closing it with the things that she's doing in the classroom. So Ms. Jennifer Sell, I want to give you a big shout out to you and the work that you're doing. I know because I'm working with that school. I have seen her. I've been in her classroom. We've done PD. When I would go down there on Saturdays with Principal Dr. Oglesby, she's in the front row taking notes. She's asking questions. She was doing that, and I've seen it for a whole year with her. So all I gotta say is the work that we are doing is working. You got teachers that's making 1.8 months worth of growth on the NWA test. This test is taken all around the world. In addition to that, it's going to lead to her state assessments that she's taking in a couple more weeks. You're going to see kids scoring through the roof. So much respect for her. Keep up the good work. Hey, listen, I'm saying it now. In a couple of years, you're going to mess around and be a coach, assistant principal, and a principal. I am claiming it now. Jennifer Sale, much respect to you. Keep up the good work. Listen, when you showed me that data last night, I was amazed. Now, I got another thing. We're going to jump into it. I had a school. I was with a principal yesterday morning, and we did virtual, and she said, "Hurt, you have to look," and I got it right here. I'm not playing. She said, "Hurt, I'm a principal." She's a principal. I've been working with her for 2 years. Principal of a 5th to 8th grade school in South Carolina. You know who you are. I don't want to steal your glory. She had for a whole school for reading, she had 1.4 years worth of growth in reading, 5th to 8th grade. Oh my God. I was just I was like, wow. We spent 2 hours, opened up the data virtual. We looked at it. She was excited, happy. So I just want to say congratulations. I don't want to let the cat out the bag yet. I want her to put it on her platform, but you know who you are, my good friend in South Carolina. Your school is rocking and rolling. She has 7th grade, and I'm looking at it right here. She had one class had a year's worth of growth. Another class had a year and 3 months worth of growth. This is 7th grade. One teacher had a year and 9 months worth of growth. Another teacher had a year and 6 months worth of growth. Oh, I'm talking good now. And another teacher had a year and 5 months worth of growth. This is reading. So she had that's 5 different teachers that had all of this growth. This is 7th grade reading. So I said, I'm going to brag about you. So a lot of times we hear all of the things that's going bad, but I am here to celebrate. I'm here to celebrate the things that is going good. I'm here to celebrate the things that's going good, because the Fantastic Four, we do not do this work just to do it. We're doing this work to be able to provide for educators out there, to be able to, at the end of the year, to be able to see schools growing, to be able to see kids learning, to be able to have teachers like Miss Jennifer on this platform. She's on my platform now. Look at it. She says, speak on it. For teachers like Jennifer to be able to say, you know what? I know it's hard work. I know I'm rolling up my sleeves, but I am seeing results at the end of the year. I'm seeing results at the end of the year. And these things that we're the information that we're giving to these educators, to these teachers, is working. Only thing I'm saying is just take it and just apply it. Take it and being consistent. Miss Jennifer, I know she was consistent on what she was doing. And then she didn't throw in the towel if it didn't work the first or second time. She kept on being consistent. She kept on growing, kept on learning, and this is the results. The same thing with the principal in South Carolina. She kept on being consistent. She kept on using the strategies. She kept on pushing her staff. She kept on, being that instructional leader, spending 65% or more of her time in the classroom that I've been preaching on. And this is what happened. So I just want to say big shout out to those two, that one teacher, Miss Sale, and that one school and the principal. The growth is amazing, and it's going to lead to proficiency. It's going to lead to high test scores in all of these schools that's getting these labels. The state is going to come to your school, and they're going to show you. You're going to be able to see and be able to give that testimony. You know what? Yeah, our report card grade increased twice. Our proficiency went from a 25 to 35%. Our suspension rate went down. Our parents survey went up. All of those things going to take place. I know it. So that's why I'm like, hey, don't miss the boat. If you are a principal, if you are a school that need this, inbox me. I'm here to support. Hey, listen, the proof is in the pudding. These schools are going to the next level. Just a couple other things is that I will be in Tucson, Arizona in a couple of weeks. Now I will be going back. I'll be going back in North Carolina. So Ms. Shell, I'll be seeing you in a couple more weeks. We got some training, my last part of training, and knock out the state test. So I'm excited. Also, make sure you go on my social media page. I'm on all the platforms. I'm on YouTube, Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. Check out some of my information. I'm giving out information every day, videos, data points, how to become all these things. I'm giving it out. So make sure you check it out and like it, share it, and let's move forward. Last thing is that if you'd like for me to come in and provide training for your staff, I'm here for you. Make sure you inbox me. I'm only taking 4 more schools next year. 4 more schools. That's all I want is 4 more schools. Currently, I'm working with 9 schools. I want to add 4 more for next year. So I'm carrying those 9 schools next year. I want to add 4 more, which will give me 13 schools. I'm doing the work. I'm coming in. I want to see schools improve. You know what my vision is by 2025. 2025, I want to impact and change 25 schools and reach 25,000 students. I want to be able to say these 25 schools that I've worked with the last 3 years have data to show that they have grown. I want to be able to impact that, because if I can impact those 25 schools, consequently, they're going to be able to impact other schools. Also, with that, I want to take principals, and I'm going to let the cat out the bag. I want to take principals to the next level. I want to get you guys prepared to become superintendents or assistant superintendents, that next step. I want to take assistant principals and let them become principals. Coaches become assistant principals. Teachers become coaches. That pipeline. How do I do that? Is when we create the best schools in your state. If you create the best school in your state, if Jennifer is getting 1.8 years worth of growth in reading, she will be promoted. She's going to be able to go to the next level if that's her desire. So that's what I'm doing. Inbox me and let's go. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Part 2, your relationship with your spouse will impact your leadership. How do you know, Mr. Hurt? Oh, I know. Last week I told you, when I started in education in 99, I was a single man, not married, not dating. I was 21 years old. And then through that process, as I'm teaching and I'm moving through that process, old school, Dr. Houston, old school, I courted my wife. We dated, and then I got married to my wife when I became an assistant principal. That changed everything in a positive way. And then from there, I've been married for 18 years, principal, doing this work and things of that nature. But what is going on all around the world that we're not talking about, and I said it last week, is that our spouse has either a positive or a negative impact on our leadership. What we're doing, and I've seen it, we are taking things from the house and bringing it to the schoolhouse. And consequently, it's impacting what we're doing either in a positive or negative way. So now what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to get the information out is that if you are in the process, if you were Sean Hurt single in that process, you need to understand is that when you get married, that person, has to understand what comes along with you being in leadership. Is this not, oh, I'm getting married, but you're bringing yourself, you're bringing who you are to that marriage. So the first thing is that if I have any single people on here that's looking to be able to take that step, I encourage you, but make sure you go through the checklist. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to talk about it. Last week I talked about it. I'm going to hit on it. And then also now you're married, you saying, Hurt, I'm married. I'm in it. I can't do it. Yeah. You got to have that conversation. You got to have that conversation. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Principal Fele said, when you say court, it takes me back to my grandmother. That was her words. Yes, I got an old soul. I'm old, so I go old school. So a lot of things that I did with my wife and how she was part of my leadership. She took me to a whole nother level as an assistant principal, as a principal. I know she did, because there were certain things I was lacking because I just didn't have that other perspective from a female perspective, because I'm a male. I'm thinking like a male. I've been my whole family, my father, and I got a brother. So I was around all males. So my whole perspective was like that. But when my wife came to the picture, she gave me a different perspective. And I'm quite sure a lot of men on here will say, "Hurt, you right, you right, you right." Yes. Yeah. So that's why it's very important. Okay. So now I'm gonna talk about the last 3 steps or last 3 strategies or last 3 things that's going to take place or what happens when you are in leadership. Last week I did the first 2. I'm not going to recap it. Look at the video, but I'm gonna go ahead and do 4, 5, and 6. I'm sorry. Last week I did 3, so I'm gonna do 4, 5, and 6. All right, and I got 13 minutes, so I want to make sure I walk through this very carefully. All right. When your relationship with your spouse and being in leadership, they must be aware that you will be dealing with negative opinions that can go personal and affect your spouse. You will be dealing with negative opinions that will go personal, that will affect your spouse. And when I say the negative opinions, it's not like someone's going to say, "Well, Mr. Hurt, I don't like your black shirt that you're wearing on your podcast." No, I'm talking about negative opinions where it goes personal, that it can go personal because as a principal, you are attending board meetings. The board meetings will be the board meetings that I was a principal of was live on TV on our local cable vision. We're having 50 to 100,000 people that can actually watch the board meetings. Also with that, you will be on the news. Also with that, you'll be on a local paper or social media, on the radio. Those things happen. So when people can say something about you, about your spouse that could be negative, how is he or she going to react to that? How is he or she going to be able to handle that? Because you're not going to be able to just shake it off. That's coming back to the house. So how are they going to be able to handle that? When I got married, I had a conversation with my wife as we was courting. I said, "Hey, this is a board meeting before we was dating. Look, it's on cable. This is me right there." Now, luckily, no one said nothing negative, but what if somebody says something negative about it? You're seeing it. Some of your friends in the community, kids attend the school that I teach at, and all those things. How are you going to react to that as a spouse? As a spouse, because on Fridays we're going to dinner, we're going to the movies, we're going out. You're going to work out on Saturday morning, Planet Fitness, whatever. How are you going to react to that as a spouse? How are you going to deal with the negative opinions that can go personal? Write it down and affect you. It's going to affect me. It's going to affect you. How are you going to be able to deal with that? That's a question that we don't ask. That's why that's why these things are taking place. I've seen a lot of people in my seat as a principal, superintendent, they have went through a divorce. Now, I'm not in their business, but some of them, it was dealing with this leadership. They couldn't take it. They couldn't take the negative press. They couldn't take it, Yes, that is so important. That is so important. That is so important because as a leader, if I'm hearing it from the house, I'm bringing it to the school. I don't care. Listen, you can say, "Hey, listen, I leave it out." No, it's going to come up. It's going to come up. It's going to come up. And then from there, how will you be able to, when you go home, is your home situation going to be toxic? You don't want to, you're at work from 7 in the morning as a principal or teacher from 7 to 5. Now you're dealing with all of this stuff at work. You got a superintendent, phone calls, even you're doing all of those things. So you want to be able to go home to your house and you want to be able to relax. This is my time. I want to be able to sit down and have that conversation with my spouse, be able to talk about it, vent, and whatever it may be. But if I'm leaving a toxic situation and then I'm coming home to a toxic situation, well, hey, listen, that's not good. That's not good for my health. That's not good for my psyche. So consequently, when I go back to work, I'm on edge. and I might take it out on the teachers or the custodian or my secretary. I've seen it happen all of the time. But the flip side to it is that if I got a spouse where I know that she knows, listen, he's in there and it's crazy at the school or in the district, but he's holding it down. He's doing what he got to do. I know that all of those things that they're saying in the public eye is false, and I could come home and my spouse understands it. She encourages me. She gives me that umph to keep on going. That's a whole different situation there, buddy. That's a whole different situation. Dealing with negative opinions that can go personal and affect your spouse. I'm gonna stop right there because I see people commenting. Yes, that's real talk. Yes. Number 5. Hopefully, I got spouses on here. Come on now, I want to bring this together. I want to see us learn and grow. Number 5. Any good principal or leader, superintendent, you know what I'm about to say about this. Taking resources taken from your house and given to the school. Resources taken from your house and given to your school. Will your spouse be all right with that? My wife understood that, hey, listen, and she helped me out with that because my wife is a very giving person. I like to give, but not like my wife. She really likes to give. So she took me to another level with that. So she allowed me to take resources from my house to be able to help make my school that much better. Well, what type of resources are you talking about? I'm going to give you some examples. Let me give you some examples. Yes, resources. We're talking about money. We're talking about this right there. So every Christmas, I love my staff. I got about 35, 40 staff members. I love my staff. So every Christmas, my wife would go Christmas shopping for my staff. So she would go out there and buy Christmas gifts for all of my teachers, custodians, secretary, things of that nature. We would come out close to $1,000 every Christmas. Now, I didn't ask the school board. I didn't nope, this is my money. $1,000, $800 to $1,000 to be able to give gifts. And I'm talking about really nice gifts. My wife did that. Resources from my house to be able to have my school running good. I enjoyed it because it was good, because when we had the Christmas party and the party, they opened it up. I knew that it came from my heart. This was coming from the Hurt family, me and my wife. And my wife will always come to our Christmas party, and she facilitated. So she was the one. I would tell them, listen, it's not me, it's my wife. So she had relationships, so she understood all of my staff. She knew them. She knew what they liked. That was my spouse. That took my school to the next level, because we talking about the climate and culture. Well, there you go. And my teachers understood how much I care for them. So that's why they were able to give 110, 120%. Resources. The other resource that's going to be coming out is this. Is that, that you got to get a pizza parties for the students. When you go on a field trip and 2 or 3 kids might not have money to go on a field trip, you can't leave that 5th grader at the school. You go ahead and you're going to pay that $15 or $20. It might not be a lot, but those are the things, those are resources. Those are resources that you're going to be coming out of. Now, will your spouse be cool with that? Or will your spouse be mumbling and grumbling? That is real talk. We're talking about resources. Now, I'm not talking about all of the time, but I'm saying these things take place. How do you know? Because I did it. I am the principal. I did it. And then I'm quite sure there's other principals on here did it as well. Are they going to be cool taking resources from your house to be able to give to the teachers and things of that nature? And then now I'm on my soapbox. As a leader, I knew I made more than my teachers. The principals make more than your teachers. So I didn't want my teachers coming out of their pockets. I'm the leader. Okay, I make more. Let me be able to provide for that staff dinner, teacher appreciation. Maybe my board didn't give me enough money or give me what I want. I'm not going to have my teachers feeling whatever. I'm going to take resources out of my pocket and be able to support my school. Resources. Is your spouse going to be okay with that. Someone said all hands on deck. Yes, yes, yes. That is yes. Yes. Donuts cost money. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I know Principal Tarver, he posted, he sends cards out once a week, once every 2 weeks. Stamps cost, whatever you're doing to be able to make sure that your staff and your students and your parents know that you care about them. You got to do it. You have to do it. You have to do it. It was one time, I see it all the time. Teachers and principals buying a kid a pair of gym shoes because that kid needed it. Gym shoes cost money, $80, $90, especially if you're talking about high school, boys, and they wearing a size 11. So you understand what I'm saying? Will your spouse be okay with that? These are the things. Your relationship with your spouse will affect your leadership. Next one. Understanding your spouse and spending time with them. You have to understand as a leader, how do I spend time with my spouse? How do I make sure that she's included, not just with the school, but also at home? A lot of times we don't turn it off at home. And I'm not saying turn off, but we got to spend some time with our spouse. One thing I had to learn is that on Fridays from 7 to about 11, that was me and my wife's time where we would go to dinner, just chill at home, watch a movie, do what we did. That was our time on Friday. I made sure that was my time. And then on Saturday, we have 2 kids. We have a son and daughter. So on Saturday, we did all of the kids stuff, take them to all of the sports events and academic events from 9 to about 3 on Saturday. We understand what that looks like. And then on Saturday at about 5, hey, we need to connect. So that was my time to be able to say, hey, I respect you. I want to be in your world. What you want to do, what you like to do. So that allowed her to understand that it validated her at the house, but also it kept on encouraging her to support me in the things that I was doing as a principal. The other thing is that, and I got one more minute, the other thing that I want to talk about is that my kids always attended the school that I was a principal of. My kids, it didn't make a difference if I was turning around a school, wherever school I was a principal of, my own kids, my son and my daughter attended it if they were in that grade range. Okay. Why was that important? Because I wanted to take things off the plate for my wife. I didn't want my wife to be able to have to go pick up the kids. No, they with me. I want to take my kids to school and pick them up and things of that nature. I want to, I'm working long hours, so I don't want to be, hey, you're at the school with daddy, and it made me realize, and it made other people know that I was rolling up my sleeve with them. I'm not having my kids go to another school. You're going to the school that I'm a principal of, because if nothing else, I'm going to make this school good for my kids and everybody else going to benefit. That was my mindset. So when I push my teachers, I'm not pushing them because I'm the principal. I'm pushing them because my kids, I want to make this school the best school in the world for all of the students, and my kids will benefit from it. So now that's another dynamic. And then that's something that, with your relationship with your spouse, if we have kids, are you cool with the kids going to school with me as a principal? And that was a non-negotiable. You will go to school with me as a principal because I wanted to make sure that I was supporting all elements. So I passed my time. Oh my God. So please, next week, same time, same place. Thank you very much for listening to this. And if you missed last week, go to part 1. If you would like for me to come in and support your school, hey, inbox me. We can make this work. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Let's stay encouraged. And I will see you next Saturday, same time, same place. Your relationship with your spouse will affect your leadership. Let's all go over to Creighton and educate. May God bless you. Peace.